Hey, everybody. How are you? It's Jer.
What's up, nerds? It's Norris.
So good to see everybody out there. We're going to be getting on our live stream pretty soon here. We're a few minutes behind. We're going to do something a little different this time just because of like a scheduling snafu or error here.
It's Jer's fault. Blame him.
It's all my fault. So basically, we're going to do one of our interviews for the show with the folks from Just Air. They do air quality monitoring. Some really cool stuff in the city. Detroit-based company doing work around the nation. We're going to have a couple of folks in. We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to do our normal show after we do the interview. So that interview is going to be about 3 o'clock.
You're going to get so much content today.
Yeah, tons of
so
content.
much content. If you are joining us on the live stream right now, you're getting so much content. I don't even know what to do with myself. There's so much stuff.
So many things at all times.
There's all the things. But first of all, I also want to say, before we get too deep into all of our content, that I want to thank all of our listeners and members, all the folks who join us on Discord for all kinds of fun conversations about restaurants and sports and politics and all kinds of cool stuff. Thanks to all of our members, Patreon, and all that good stuff. So you guys are great. You're the ones that allow us to do all this.
Yeah, real active conversations over there, even when I'm on vacation.
That's right.
And by the way, I'm sorry, folks. I went on vacation for a few days. I know we missed a couple episodes, but I had to. I needed to clear my brain.
I ain't even notice. I ain't even notice. I'm just messing.
It's that summer doldrum.
It really is, bro. And it's been hot as hell.
Man, I felt it.
It's been so hot, bro.
I felt it. This morning I tried to go to work using the bus, and that was a bad idea.
I can't be outside. Like if you go outside, you gonna melt. Like flat out. Like I feel bad for people who are not like warm weather people. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause everybody reacts differently to the heat and all that, right? Like me, I'm pretty okay with it, but one of my good friends, man, he can't deal with the heat, man. He get to sweating. He a bigger fella than me, so he gotta have his rag. You know how they gotta have the sweat rag.
I need a handkerchief. I need a handkerchief like a preacher.
Yeah, but see, nah, he you know what I'm saying? West Side shit. He just have a rag, and he just wipe his. Man, I told him one time, I was like, bro, you know, if you come downtown to kick it with me, bro, you're gonna have to have your rag on deck. And he was just like, bro, I already got one. He was like, and this is purple too, so you know it don't look. You know, you don't want the dirty sweat on a white rag.
No, you gotta have some. You gotta have something with it. By the way, Josh, welcome. Hello, greetings from Greektown.
Greektown, let's go. Stand up. Nice to meet you, my friend. And nice to see you on our live stream. Also, feel free, if you are new to the live stream, feel free to throw your comments and questions into the chat towards the end of the stream. We always answer the questions and have a dialogue about the questions and all sorts of cool stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And we're going to have some guests coming in a little bit to say hello, as I said. So we'll probably do a little bit of a slate to get ready for that. But, yeah, I mean, you know, I need to go. Greektown. I'm trying to think. I love Euros. You know what's crazy?
You can be my Euro baby.
You know what's crazy? Boo! I don't have anything to throw at you.
Yeah, you don't have anything to throw at me today.
No.
We hit it all away. Maybe you could reach for the bottle of Detroit City Distillery.
No, nothing dangerous.
DCFC moonshine.
You see what happens, y'all? You took away all the throwable things, like the little stress balls and stuff we used to have around. You took them all away, and so now I can't throw things at you.
Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/dailydetroit, and fund more stress balls for Norris Howard to whip at me.
Yeah.
While I make puns.
Yeah, because if there's one thing I hate, it is a pun. I hate puns. I hate them so much. I really do. I really, really do. But anyway.
Chicago was a trip, man.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to talk about it on the show proper, but, you know, before getting into the show, first of all, what'd you eat?
What did I eat? What did
you eat in Chicago?
One thing is that in a lot of ways, Chicago and Detroit are cousins in the way of our food.
True.
It's solid.
Yeah.
It is solid.
And filled with trans fats.
Listen, the breakfast I had, there's a couple of great breakfasts I had. M. Henry up in Andersonville, great breakfast. What is the other place that I went to? I got to think about it. But
Did you go to Lowry's?
no,
Oh,
no, I did not. I did not.
okay. I was just checking. I was just saying, why not? Did you go to the mega Starbucks on
No.
Michigan Ave?
No, I kept it
The ultra 3-floor
Andersonville.
Starbucks?
So I was staying up in Andersonville, and Andersonville is apparently the center of all local, like shopping local in Chicago, and it's true.
Is it?
It is. There are so many small stores. You know what it reminds me of? The buildings up in Andersonville remind me a lot of the pictures I used to see of Mack Avenue on the east side.
Okay, I
Or
dig
even
it.
when I was a kid and some of the buildings
Yeah.
were still there before they
What's the
blew it out.
restaurant
and it
over there? Savoy? Yeah, I think it's Savoy over there on Mac.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean though, because it kind of got to look that little strip of Mac that kind of looked like Baby Grosse Point.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Baby, like, but the street is way wider.
Yeah, and then you go down where I stay.
Yeah.
When you go nearby by Van Dyke, you're like, oh, this used to be. Because when I go to the Commons Coffee Shop, they have
That's right.
photos up. And it's that same style of building with really cool cornices. All that stuff's still there in Andersonville.
There was a lot of money over there back in the day, man.
So much
That's
money.
what people-
And now
people
it's like
forget.
pheasant fields.
Yeah, Pheasant Field.
I'm saying that as someone who lives there. I'm sorry.
Fezzy, are you from Mac? You from Mac Avenue? You from the east side?
That's funny.
Fezzy looks like an east side pheasant.
Pick Me Up Cafe was really good.
Okay.
It was like a millennial fever dream. Down to the garbage pail kids on the tables, the cards on the
See,
tables.
too much kitsch is annoying.
I loved it because it was in the inside, like the inside of my brain.
Yeah, too much. Like some kitsch is cool, but too much of it, I'm just like,
Well, that's because you're all cool and shop at Uniqlo.
I do shop at Uniqlo.
That's a difference between you and I.
Yeah, that's true.
These
These pants I got on right now are from Uniqlo.
see, I saw an ad for Uniqlo when I was on the Instagram.
I love that stuff.
When I was on the, here's the thing.
That
out
is
in
the
Chicago,
one store we don't have in downtown Detroit. We need Uniqlo.
I don't know if this is the case for others traveling to Detroit. And if you're listening, I want you to tell me. But the truth is, when I got to Chicago, the ads were on point for everything to visit stuff.
Yeah, 'cause
It
they
was
got
the
more
Target ads
people-
were so good.
More people with money to spend money on things
That's funny.
in terms of ads. I think we gotta make some adjustments now because our guests have arrived.
They have. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into a slate. And then from there, we will come back for y'all. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Make
It's
me
not
sound
very white. Yeah.
bassier.
Back on the live stream, Jer here along with Norris Howard. How are y'all? Okay, so because of an interesting quirk of scheduling, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently
Blame
today.
Jer.
It's all my fault. Always, everything that goes wrong is my fault,
That's
apparently. Right. So here is the deal. What we are doing is recording a section of our Daily Detroit podcast. We have an interview here with Darren Riley and Justin Owenu. Darren runs Just Air. He's the founder. Justin works with the city of Detroit. He's the director of entrepreneurship. This is a piece that we're going to actually put into our audio podcast. But because of scheduling, you get to see this live, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, Darren, how are you?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
And Justin?
I'm great.
You get to say hey, chat this time.
Hey, chat.
hey, chat.
And you get to see more angles of our fun studio.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're going to hop into this pre-recorded, normal, it's like a behind-the-scenes kind of look of how we would do things. And then we will go into our normal, like, show live chat
Normal,
stuff.
regular old show.
And if you're on the live stream, know that you are getting future news today, as this is going to air early next week in our podcast feed. So
That's right.
The future is today.
That's
Norris
right.
Howard.
The future is whatever we make it, Jer. And we are talking to the future in front of us. I'm so excited about this conversation because it's dope.
Yeah,
it's a dope product.
Yeah, two really great product, two really interesting individuals with great stuff. All right. So let's get started into that part. And we will get here. All right, and in 3, 2, 1. Hello, friends, and welcome to the table at Techtown. I am J.R. Stays, and joining me across the table is none other than Norris Howard. How are you?
Prince of Brightmo, in effect, once again, you already know what it is.
All right, so for today's episode, we've got a couple of great guests, both to my right, and to the far. Darren Riley, the founder and CEO of Just Air. Welcome to Daily Detroit.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
And then Justin Owenu. He is the director of entrepreneurship for the city of Detroit. Good to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Now, I understand you're a longtime listener.
Yes, long-time listener, first-time guest. So I'm glad to be here.
How did you first find the show?
I literally was searching Detroit podcasts, and the SEO is perfect. So long-time listener is really great to be here.
We appreciate you finally getting a chance to come in. We've been talking about having you on the show for a while, so it's great to finally have you here to talk about all the tons of really cool entrepreneurial stuff, but specifically also about Just Air, which is something that is, I'm so excited about this because it's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm so passionate about the environment. So is my partner. I mean, the environment is key to so many things in our life. So, Darren, why start Just Air and why do it in Detroit?
Yeah. The short answer is just coincidence and just stars aligning. The long story, not too long. We got a short, got a podcast. So I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I moved to Detroit in 2016. So I'm, I think by the end of this year or next year, I'll be able to say what up, though. Hit my decade.
That's right. You do need a decade.
I need a decade, right? So say what up, though. But when I moved here, I moved to Southwest Detroit, close to the highway, and actually developed asthma as a young adult. Something that wasn't normal to me, something I realized was very normal in my neighborhood. And so I asked questions. And so those questions led me to my background, which is in computer science, software engineering. And long story short of that is that I found that depending on where you live had a large determination on what you breathe, and that impacts our health, right?
Yeah.
And so, fast forward during COVID, a lot of, unfortunate events where many communities that look like ours were hit the hardest because of those underlying illnesses, which revolve around the air we breathe and the things in our environment. And so Just Air is really trying to be a pillar in front of that.
And I love that connection as you talked about, not just talking about clean air and from an environmental standpoint, but from a public health standpoint of being able to let the people know that, hey, the very air we're breathing exposes us to those other sort of factors that could really take us out the game a little bit earlier than most other people. COVID, many of us lost people to COVID. I lost people to COVID. And a part of that was because so many of us had undiagnosed asthma. And as somebody who has been asthmatic for my whole life, having something like Just Air that is specifically targeting, cities, specifically targeting exposed communities is incredible. And so I definitely applaud what you're doing. And I've had a look at some of the demos that you've put out, and I think it's great, man.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate it. Like you said, man, we don't think about it often, but we take 20,000 breaths per day on average, right? 20,000, right? And you think about the water we drink, the food we eat, the air we breathe, that's entering our bodies. And so just imagine all those samples, like you're just eating dirty food all day. We gotta make sure we clean the air so we can breathe better and live longer.
So where are you at as far as the company? What kind of stage are you in right now?
Yeah, I'll say like constantly figuring out stage, constantly making mistake stage, and but it's so we're 4 years in. Team is growing. We're about 10 people, and we are just in that growth stage. So we have clients. We're in 11 different states. We're obviously largely here in Michigan, but really advancing the whole movement in this space. So yeah, just like getting close to that growth stage, having that scale, but it's always something you got to really build the foundation before you do that big leap, yeah.
So you're talking about clients. Who pays for this? Like what kind of, obviously you may not want to get into your book of clients, but what kind of company or what kind of organization pays you?
Absolutely. So typically, which I believe principally is where we stand, is that it's something that's paid for by the government. It provides public service of data and awareness, and actually can take action on it. So typically health departments, sustainability departments within government, at the local level, city level, county level, and now we're actually talking at the state level with certain states outside of Michigan. So yeah, that's typically who kind of falls in our bucket. Also, we work a lot with community, do different community projects and whatnot. So those are always partners, and actually that's how we started as well.
And then what do they do with that data?
Yeah, so we look at the actions in the 3 different buckets. One is behavioral change. That's pretty the low-hanging fruit, but it's very fruitful fruit. You know better, you do better. So having the citizens have access to this data in real time, having actions that they can take based on air quality alerts, awesome. The next pillar is environmental change. So using this data to inform, where do we put that green away? Where do we plant these trees? Where do we prioritize electrification of school buses, right? Having this data can help inform different decisions on what we do in our environment. And last but not least, the North Star is policy change. So what can this data be used to inform and enforce policy? Cumulative impact law, anti-ordinance laws or things like that to basically put things in place to make sure that we have equity in the air we breathe.
And I think this is fantastic, too, as we begin to go into a new mayoral administration very soon here in the city of Detroit, where not a lot of people are talking about environment per se specifically, but we are talking about zoning. That's a huge conversation in the city of Detroit, mostly around business and housing development. But as we talk about that, we also have to talk about environmental zoning. We have to talk about where do we put, this particular factory, or where do we put this particular business that might have environmental waste that they have to deal with, and that's all going to affect the way we breathe, the air we breathe, the food we eat, so on and so forth. My next question is, let's say I'm just an individual.
Yep.
Right? And already Google is giving me, the wildfires in Canada have brought us all the smog, and now we can't breathe outside. For most people, that alert, I feel like, is really good enough. How does your product give an individual more data to use that they'll be able to implement in everyday life?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that question. That's the main value prop, and I almost forgot to even talk about that. So thank you. You did your research for sure. You really gave me an alley hoop there. So the question is we look at Google Maps, and even the air quality index that you get on your phone is regional data, right? What does that mean? We can catch the fire smoke. We can catch those July 4th days where we got powder all around for us having fun till like 3 a.m. Somebody having fun popping fireworks in the backyard, right? So these are regional events that these monitors capture. What our software and what our technology allows us is to distribute go from one monitor within one city context to 100, so we get that block by block data. So the analogy I like to use is think about if your child is sick, right? Do you go to the thermostat, go check the temperature, on their forehead, and see if they're warm and what's going on? They have a fever? No, you go to them and you go that process, right? So it's using the right tool for the right action. So if we want to make sure that we keep every block healthy, if I pop a firework right here, you won't see that on Google Map, but you will see it on our Just Air if we have a monitor right there. So
I want to share an anecdote about that, because I'm looking at one of the maps right now near my house, because I stay on the Near East Side over by Grand Boulevard, Gresham and Grand.
Yep.
There's a monitor over there that reads 47. But if you roll over to the East Village and you go over just past French Road and Jefferson, that is 40, or that is 74. That is a huge difference. If you go over by Grosse Pointe Park, it's 61. You roll over, you keep going, and if you go on the west side over by Central in the Fish Freeway, it's 45. Like, it really makes a huge difference. That's a difference between a green and like bad, and even worse in some cases. I like scroll around here all the way down to a block level, where if I just open up my app, I don't actually know. And considering that there are people in my life in sensitive groups, that actually really matters. And you actually have two, it's funny, you actually have two different monitors within like just blocks of my house.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you hit it on the head. That's exactly the value prop. And I'm so glad you said it like that. Where you live matters. Where you live matters. Where you live matters. It's why we need to think about health and all policy. Environment touches everything. So that's what we're here to do. Really be a pillar and make it accessible. I want people to look at air quality just how we look at a nutritional label on the box of a cereal, right?
So for listeners who don't know, then let's talk about that. A real quick primer. What does that mean? Like, I've seen these numbers, and I'm a little bit more sensitive and familiar. So I know that 47 is in the green. I know it's a little bit better than a 74. But when we're looking at this stuff, what is, because you'll see stuff in the news with the wildfires, whatever. What does this stuff actually mean?
Totally. I'm gonna tell you what it means and what also you can deduce from it, right? So what it means is gives you air quality index is a simple scoring rubric just for the public to just get some quick information. Good means go, red means pause, right? Or something's going on. That you can go about your daily activities based on that ambient outdoor air quality. So. That means that whatever we're tracking, this leads me to my next part, whatever we're tracking, there's a heavy concentration. There's too much dirt in the air for you to go outside right now. It's red, right? Oh, it's really good. It's clear. Go barbecue. Go do your thing. Now, what it doesn't tell you is the air quality index, and there needs some maturity there, is what pollutant is driving at. And we do that on our dashboard. So you see particulate matter, PM2.5, PM10. These are the sizes of molecules. I'm not going to get deep. Sizes of matter. So like think of like a little small grain size of your hair, or to like a grain of sand, right? These things can enter our bloodstream or whatever. And so these are different pollutants that we measure. But what you care about, what is the worst pollutant that I should not be breathing? Now, what it doesn't tell you is that it could be good on Google. It could be good on our monitors. Are we measuring the right thing, right? If that is it SO2 or some other chemical that we're not measuring, and we're saying
SO2
is sulfur dioxide. So
see, I'm an idiot. So please help me along here.
The point is you don't need to know all the different ABCs, and look, I don't know the periodic table myself, but some of these pollutants, you'll need to know that. All you need to know is the color index, and that's why we built that color index, so we can get some quick. My grandmother can pick up the app and know in 30 seconds what's the air quality and what should I do about it.
It's red. Stay in the house.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
But I also want to be clear. Is that your body, please make this clear, is that what you're smelling in the air, if you're smelling some rotten egg, you're smelling mold in your home, you're smelling these things, don't let a computer tell you otherwise what you're feeling in your body. Because guess what? Our bodies are the best sensors there are out there.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to just double down on that. What we Just Air provides some context to give some color to what we're doing and what you can breathe, so you're not thinking about it all the time. But what you smell and what you feel in your body, oh, it feels smoggy, oh, it feels heavy in my lungs. Trust that. That's your first trust.
I think this is definitely so powerful for parents of young children and those who have children with sensitive health needs who the children might not even be able to tell them those things, is to say, I think it smells weird. I can't really breathe that well, or so on and so forth. Incredible product. I think it's awesome. So thank you for breaking that down for us.
For sure. Now, Justin Owenu, I want to bring you into this conversation. Why is it so important, as the director of entrepreneurship for the city of Detroit, why is it so important to have startups like Just Air here?
Yeah, absolutely. So as background, I got my start as a community organizer actually in Southwest Detroit, River Rouge, Ecorse, doing environmental justice work. So I was going block by block, was working with residents to try to address a lot of concerns folks had. It's actually how I got introduced to a lot of folks at the city because we passed the Detroit River Protection Ordinance years ago. And so I use that as background to say when I went to law school, I was really interested in how do we create an economy that works for Detroiters, that works for everybody. And to me, I think there are innovative companies that are creating a lot of jobs, yes, and also doing great work that has civic context, that can benefit the community, that can pay dividends for years to come. So I think companies like Just Air are proving that you can have innovative companies, their technology, the social mission, the environmental mission aside, the technology and the work that they are doing is world class. I think can have a global reach. So it's the innovation that is being driven, it's the job creation that's being driven, it's the economic impact of that job creation, and also just the impact that companies like Just Air are having, I think is really exciting.
Well, we've covered a number of headlines of startups and businesses in Detroit. And I think it's so funny when I go out of the region, people are very excited about Detroit. When I'm in the region, people are like, what, you're investing there? Why are you going to do it in Detroit instead of, Royal Oak or Troy or something like that? Why is it, do you think, that Detroit is starting to turn a corner a bit with these startups nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, I think our history has a lot to do with it. Detroit's a city that's been driven, I like to say, by teamwork and by innovation. Teamwork, you think about the assembly line, it means, I do my part, I pass it on to you, and we work together to get something done. Innovation, not just the automotive industry, but in music and culture. So Detroit has had a history of innovation. I think now what we're seeing is a lot of organic energy around not just our small business community, but our startups and innovative tech companies in particular. And I think, of course, government has a role to play in catalyzing and making sure that excitement, that energy results in investment. And so we're really excited about that work now.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to ask you in particular is that we obviously see, incubators like the one we're in, a place like Tech Town and New Lab and events like Black Tech Saturday that have popped up within the past 4 to 5 years that have really started to coalesce this sort of tech-based community together. As a rep of the city, what has that process been like internally, having those conversations about what to support, how to get involved, but also sometimes, and let's be very clear about this, how to sometimes just get out the way and let people make what they want to make.
Yeah, so a lot of folks will look at my background and say, this is an interesting role for somebody who's an organizer, who's done a lot of economic justice work with workers and with small businesses. Why this role? Well, when Mayor Duggan appointed me to the role, he really said, I want you spending as much time as possible directly with entrepreneurs, directly with startup founders, directly with small business owners, and figure out what they want, what they need. And I think you can use your organizing background, your legal background to think about what should exist, what things should the city be doing that we're currently not doing, and what are ways in which we need to get out of the way and let community and let small business owners lead. And so I've had the pleasure of thinking about, from a rules and legal perspective, what sort of structures need to be in place so that we're not creating unnecessary barriers for folks to actually get access. But also, we've thought about how do we take programs like Motor City Match and apply it elsewhere? How do we take the success of workforce development strategies and apply that in ways that benefit the community, benefit tech founders, and result in more investment in the city?
And there was just recently a new announcement, right? It's called the Detroit Startup Fund. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. So on Monday, recently we announced the launch of the Detroit Startup Fund, which is a first of its kind program mirrored off of Motor City Match, which has started over 190 businesses in the city of Detroit, in neighborhoods, on corridors. And so we're taking the success of that program and we're really saying there are a lot of innovative companies that have the potential of creating jobs, creating high wages, creating wealth for Detroiters that we want to support. And so the Detroit Startup Fund will provide hundreds of thousands of dollars in non-dilutive grant capital directly to founders who need it to grow. And so we're really excited. We haven't seen a program like this that combines, that says government has a partnership role to play. We're going to get out of your way, but we also want to catalyze more growth, more investment in our city, and have that directly benefit Detroiters.
And for those at home, non-dilutive grant capital. I mean, I think I have a sense of what it means, but for those at home.
So oftentimes when innovative companies are raising money to grow, to make the investments in equipment and staff and development, they oftentimes will go to venture capital funds and say, if you give us $100,000, we will give you 10% of our company. So
sort
that's
of what you see on Shark Tank.
right,
all
exactly,
the time.
Shark Tank. And I'm someone who grew up watching Shark Tank and Dragon's Den, which is the Canadian Shark
Yeah,
Tank.
Dragon's Den.
Not
Yeah.
many people know about that one. So I never thought I'd be in this role, being able to work with companies who are going through the same thing. But non-dilutive grant capital, it's really important that founders get capital that they don't have to think about how much equity do we need to give the city of Detroit in order to get this capital. This is we see this as an investment in the future of Detroit and the present of Detroit. We think it will pay dividends by creating jobs, by creating wealth, by creating high wages in the city. And we're really excited about it. So you can go to detroitmi.gov/startup to learn more, to apply by August 25th. And let me know if you have any questions.
Now, Darren, you're still to your 10-year mark almost. Yeah. So you're not necessarily per se from here. So you have a little bit of a perspective. You could have done this anywhere. So what about Detroit's moment today saying, okay, I'm going to do this here?
Questions are spot on. Man, your questions are so good. You guys do this, yeah.
This is, I think, more than 1,700 episodes.
This is amazing. No, this is exactly what I wanted to say. It comes down to one word: culture. I've been in the Chicago ecosystem. No knock on these major hubs, right? You know, from Chicago to New York to San Fran, and I have friends over in LA. Like, I've seen these ecosystems, and the one thing that we have here is this culture and this energy that's grassroots. And it sounds weird because in environmental justice space, we know what grassroots means: organized in civic space. Mm-hmm. I never thought about organizing in entrepreneurship space and like being, because it is kind of your organizer, right? You're kind of built to like take this thing that doesn't exist and like tell the world that y'all need it and we make this happen, right? So I feel like we have that organic tissue here. A lot of that comes from, Black Tech Saturdays, shout out to Johnny and Alexa, and a lot of that energy and momentum. But that's why I'm here, is that when you're on this journey, it's a lonely, lonely journey. It's a roller coaster, But when you're here with other people who are going through it with you, it's a shared culture. You're not going it with each other, but you're like, it's us versus everybody kind of vibe. That culture is what keeps me here and keeps me branded here. And I'll say this: if there was a parallel universe, I'm a Marvel fan, so we love the multiverse. You know what I'm saying, kind of stuff. If there's another Just Air that was made out of San Francisco, it would look nothing like what I built here. What I built here was based in the flavor and the needs of the community that embedded in the product, and I think that's really the sauce. I was just gonna say, I mean, startups in particular need three things: capital, they need money to grow. Folks know that. They need customers. That's intuitive. But community, I think, is the third thing that oftentimes people don't think about. And when you're able to bump up against someone who knows what you're going through, knows what your needs are, and can connect you, that wants to grow with you. I mean, we see that at New Lab, Black Tech Saturdays, Tech Town, Bamboo, Endeavor, so many ecosystem builders that are making it work for startup founders in Detroit. 100%.
Well, that is good to hear. Well, Darren Riley, founder and CEO of Just Air, where can people go?
Oh, yeah. Visit justair.app. So JUSTAIR.app. Check out our map. We got some links and information. Get your air quality local here in Wayne County and Detroit.
And Justin Owenu, thank you so much for stopping by. Where can people go?
Thanks so much for having me. So go to detroitmi.gov/startup. Apply for the Detroit Startup Fund. Take a look at our resources, and let me know if you have any questions or comments or suggestions.
All right. I will pause there on the recording. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
us.
you.
Yeah, this
Appreciate
is
it.
great. This is fun.
Yeah,
Sorry
keeping
again
it
for being
alive
so
here.
late.
Right, you're gonna make our voice sound like Barry White.
That's right, man. It's gonna be real buttery. Buttery sounds. No, I really appreciate you coming by because, like I said, I lost people from COVID and being very sort of tied in to the environmental health of our communities is something that I think we overlook in general, especially in the African American community. And I just think having this type of data and adding more to it in terms of not just your product, but just how do we, talk to people like farmers and stuff, and like let's talk about what's in the soil. Let's talk about what type of trees are we planting. Let's talk about what type of asphalt we're using on the roads so it doesn't have runoff and get into the man. We could go deep on this.
Oh, 100%.
And I just love that we're even just starting with these types of startups.
Yeah.
Because I mean, man, I was in San Francisco last year and I was frustrated with how many people could just go to get coffee and bump up with a dude, and next thing you know, they talking money like this.
Right.
Yeah.
PowerPoint, no company bill.
Dude.
Piece of pen and paper on a napkin. Here you go.
For
Give me some
real,
money.
I was at the hotel bar, man, and one guy had like some AI based product. I wasn't that deep in this conversation, but he had like some AI based product, and literally a dude was sitting on the couch behind me and got up, sat next to him, and was like, "Hey, man, you doing this? I'm doing this." They exchanged information, and they immediately started talking money instantly. And it's like the community aspect of what you were talking about, Justin, the ability to be able to do that and to be able to have access to people who have further access is incredible.
Access is the whole. I do get questions like, you were doing organizing, now you're doing work around entrepreneurship. How is that? Well, when I think about, Darren and I met when this was many, many years ago before I was in this role. And I see him now working with some of the same environmental justice advocates that I got to know and work with. Johnny was actually an organizer before he started.
Johnny Turnage, yeah.
Johnny Turnage was an organizer. And one of the things he told me before he even started with the job is he was like, don't run away from the fact that you're an organizer. Use that to benefit the ecosystem. And I think some of the same themes that we hear from neighborhood leaders and other spaces that have nothing to do with entrepreneurship are some of the same themes that you hear from founders and from small business owners. We need access. We need capital. Make sure that we're not overlooked. Those are some of the same themes that folks are trying to address.
I think that's so important. My interactions with air quality are far more pedestrian than yours because I have a partner who is sensitive, and also
That's true.
I have 2 parakeets, and that actually matters to them.
Yeah.
Like bad air can literally knock
I mean,
it out.
little itty bitty lungs, man.
They got tiny lungs, tiny lungs. But, there is an importance to that connection because at the end of the day, and I know nobody has to agree with me, but where I live, we need like money and jobs and things happening. Like I was joking on the live stream ahead of time, like half of my block is pheasant fields.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's still a lot more room to go, and we need. There's no way Detroit's going to get where it goes with a median income of $38,000 in a household.
Yeah.
We got to do more.
We gotta do
We
more.
got to get that money up somehow. And I know that's a tough conversation because people are afraid of it because it's like, am I going to be left behind or things like? But change has to happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I was recently in, and we'll talk about it on the main show later. But I was like recently in Chicago, and I was like, this all could have been here. Like I was walking down Clark Street in Andersonville. I'm like, these buildings all were on Mac. Like all of it deserves to be here, but we've got to connect to the money. We got to connect to people and show what we can do here in Detroit.
And
the
connect
talent,
to the talent. And that's why we have made an effort with Daily Detroit to try to maximize the visibility of that talent, the visibility of people doing cool stuff, man. Yeah. That's what we about, man.
One thing that really sparked me, also there's a lot of things that motivate me. Very easy to be motivated by air quality and getting up to do this
yeah,
work.
Can I breathe, bro?
Yeah,
like,
Simple. When I get an asthma attack, I'm super motivated. Like if I feel like my asthma's creeping up, I get super motivated. Like what if a child feels out and feeling, how can they learn? And I think one big thing too, which keeps me motivated, is that what you just said is showcasing like, what is the ceiling? There's no ceiling in terms of like us taking our community experience and not like what we feel in our bodies and like translating that into solutions that are real in the world. A lot of our problems, the problems that is interesting in the world of entrepreneurship, like let's get a robot to like fly around and drop something off to you. Like dope.
Cool. Let's do it.
Dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like those are problems for certain folks who can afford to have something what that thing is delivered to them.
Right.
There's also a lot of problems that we see around us that could be solved, and there is a value, but there's also a intrinsic motivation to actually solving those issues. And I want to showcase to the world, like, we can build best-in-class products here, solving problems here that the world is needing. We're working with the most advanced air quality management district in the U.S., so in the globe, that's asking for a product from Detroit. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy
heavy,
connect
man.
the dots. And that's based on the love and the passion and us really stepping up and solving problems.
And we love to see it, man. We love to
That's
see
awesome.
it.
Well, we're going to take a slight pause on the live stream. We're not going away. We're going to put
We'll
the
be
slate
right
up
back.
just for a couple of minutes. We'll be right back and go do our regular show. Justin, Darren, thank you so much for stopping
for
by the
having
studio at Techtown. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
y'all.
All right.
Bye, chat.
They're hot.
Mike's is hot. Hello.
Hello.
How's everything going?
Hey, everybody, we're back.
Hey. Hold on. Which camera I'm on? I'm on this one. Yeah.
Michael, by the way, thank you. I made sure to pass on to Justin.
And he
said
says
goodbye.
thank you. He said goodbye and thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, welcome everybody. It's so good to see so many folks in the chat. We're about to record our main show that will air tomorrow morning. And then from there, we're going to do our live stream, answering your questions, getting into stuff. If you've got questions and they think if you put it in there, we'll get back to it.
We'll get to it.
We'll slide back into it. You know, don't think you got to hold it or something if you've got a point. And
Let
then
it fly.
let it fly. And then either we'll answer it on the fly, because, you know, when people are doing the podcast part, They're not here in the live chat.
Yeah.
So we got to like kind of pretend you're not
Let
there
it fly,
for a minute.
stream of consciousness.
Yeah, and then we'll get into it. By the way, thank you, Sam, for watching. I appreciate you. Mike Wong, good to see you.
We love it.
Yeah, we love it. We love it, Michael. It's good to see you. We love it.
We got a lot of friends. We got a lot of friends in the city. We got a lot of friends popping into the show. Tell your friends about us.
Yes, tell the friends about the Daily Detroit podcast.
And about the live stream every Wednesday.
Yeah, every Wednesday. Every Wednesday we're doing this thing, which is terrifying, except for next Wednesday. You know why?
Yeah, because we got stuff going on.
We got something special going on Tuesday night.
You know it.
Okay, guys, you're going to learn first here on the live stream. We are going to live stream the results for the mayoral election live from the night, from studio right here Tuesday night, starting at about a little before 8 p.m.
Popping pizza.
Popping pizza, popping beer.
Yep.
We are going to do election night coverage live streamed right here on Daily Detroit from our studio at Techtown. We're working on guests. We're working on friends. I'm working on my best Steve Kornacki impression.
We need a map. We need a map of Detroit where I can get my John King on, and I can point out each district.
We should Xerox an old map.
Yeah, we should. It should just be like a hand drawn map. This should just be like, yeah. So they didn't win over there. Back to you.
So this is either a great idea or a terrible one.
Yeah, who knows? But that's
This is
what
either going to go really well or really badly.
that's what the live stream is for. That's
Yes.
look at engineer, producer Adam.
Producer Adam has
producer
graphics.
Adam throwing the graphics up. We didn't even ask for that. I didn't
It's
even
there.
ask for that, and he just had it ready. We love that guy.
We do. We
We
do.
love that guy, man. Yeah. He made one guest appearance on the show, and
People loved it.
People loved it.
People literally said that his voice made them feel so secure that he could build them anything.
Because he sounds like he can fight everyone. Like he has a voice that sounds like he could beat everyone up. I'm not saying he can. I'm not putting that on you.
Actually,
Adam.
I think he probably could.
He might be able to.
He could beat your ass.
I don't know about that. I don't fight
He
fair.
could beat my ass.
I don't fight fair.
Okay. You
So-
don't fight. Wait. How do you not fight fair?
I'm little. I can't fight fair.
What does that mean? Do you like nipple twist or something?
I'm doing whatever I can to survive. I got to do whatever I can. I'm ankle biting. I'm sweeping. I'm hitting people in the nads. I'm doing whatever I got to do in order to survive. I also did Muay Thai for like a few years, so I'm definitely kneeing and elbowing and clinching. I'm doing all of it.
This is remarkable.
Don't fight me if you got hair, because I will pull your locks, so I can knee you in the face. All right, listen, I can't fight fair, bro. When you less than 6 feet tall, a fair one, we got to be the same. We got to be in the same weight class. If we ain't in the same weight class, if you ain't a featherweight like me,
I'm not big enough to be a bouncer anymore.
no,
I used to be.
No. You got to be a welterweight or below. Welterweight. So that's as high as I could go.
Well, we are going to be covering that mayoral fight
Yeah,
on Tuesday night. I can't believe we're doing this.
we should, man. We should. And I got invited to 2 watch parties. I'm gonna come here, obviously, duh. But I got invited to some candidate watch parties too. I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, you know what we could do? Is it by the candidates?
Yeah,
Do you know? Well, since you know people there, maybe we could like call in,
yeah. You call in. I'm gonna still show up. But
like have them call in us.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get it to happen, but I'm gonna crash though. I'm gonna definitely crash, and you know what I'm saying. Try to get some people to say something silly.
All right, we're gonna get into the main show here that will be airing. So when we say the time, it's gonna be a little crazy because it's gonna say Thursday.
But it's not. It's
not.
It's when this is coming out. Y'all
Yeah,
should
it's coming
know
out
this.
tomorrow morning. You should know this because
Y'all
you're
should know
getting it
this
ahead
by
of
now.
everybody else.
Yeah, y'all should know.
All right, let's do it. Recording the main. All right, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, friends, and welcome to your Daily Detroit. Back after a short break, I am Jer Stays, coming to you on this Thursday, July 31st, from Techtown. And across from me is none other than the Prince of Brightmoor himself, Norris Howard. How are you?
You know what, man? I am at this point just happy to be here. It says the weekend is supposed to be beautiful. Weather is supposed to be incredible. And let's hope we don't all burn to death by the end of the summer, because it's been hot and I'm just trying to survive.
I'm making it. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm here. I've got air conditioning.
Well, that's good. Some people don't.
That's true.
It's
I see the window fans on my block, and I am.
man. I just bought one of them bladeless fans, kind of like a Dyson.
Does that work?
It's a knockoff though. I ain't getting no real Dyson. It was $500 fans. I can't afford that. So
I was about to say $500 on a fan. There's a lot of other things I'd spend $500 on.
Nah, absolutely not. Nah, I got like a little knockoff. It's pretty decent. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, we're gonna get into some stories around town, but first we're gonna do an episode of Where We've Been, or a segment of Where We've Been.
Yeah,
and
man.
Norris, I saw you on social media. You were at somewhere I wanted to go check out, but because my schedule didn't line up.
Yeah, man. I checked out the Detroit Chinatown block party over the weekend. It was incredible scenes, man, and it's something I thought was actually going to be pretty modest. Actually, was pretty large. I mean, it was. I don't know the exact numbers, but a lot of people came out. It was fantastic to see tons of people who showed up there. There was food, there was art, music. Shipping company was open, so people were able to walk through shipping company and check all that out. And it was incredible. Got to actually see some listeners there, and was able to meet up with them and say what's up. I stopped into Peterborough for a little bit, got some drinks, all that good stuff, man. It was really, really colorful. Shout out to a friend of the show, Sam Robinson, who was also a community sponsor for the Chinatown block party, him and Detroit 1 Million. So I just want to give him a special shout out. But yeah, it was a really dope, really awesome event. And yeah, people seem to really enjoy it. So I hope it becomes a annual thing.
I hope it is the start of something even bigger.
Yeah.
Because there's so much potential there, and the story of Detroit's Chinatown's really interesting. There's actually an exhibit at the Historic Museum recently. There's some books around these different things. I think it's so important to celebrate history, and Chinatown was basically kind of like bowled right over.
Yeah.
And then kind of pushed out. And to see the interest in it again, I know that they're talking about streetscape improvements, Chinese style gate, some things like that are going to knock things up a little bit.
We should talk. I mean, listen, I'm all for that. Anybody that has ever been to what I consider, the Chinatown in San Francisco, it's an incredible place. I mean, it is so vibrant, and it is full of so much culture, and it's full of so much history that I would love to see that return to that area of Cass Corridor and really revitalize it. Obviously, there have been some restaurants and companies and businesses that have invested in that area, and they've seemed to be doing all right. But there's still plenty of land over there, plenty of opportunity for people to invest further. And I think it's just ripe with opportunity.
Funnily enough, in the place where I've been, I was also at a Chinatown.
Yes, that's right. You was at our friends to the west.
Yes, our cousins.
Our cousins in the Central Time Zone.
Yes, Chicago. I went to not just Chinatown in Chicago, but many places in Chicago because I needed to get out, stretch my legs a little bit, do things. And let me tell you, what a bustling hive of activity.
It's a lot going on.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So the part of Chinatown that I was in was interesting because it reminded me of the Detroit Shipping Company to an extent, because there was a central corridor with a bunch of businesses on the first and second levels. And the first level was mostly retail. The second level was mostly like insurance companies and stuff like that. No, I'm serious. It was wild.
That's pretty funny.
And so it was this
it was just like rented out commercial space.
Yeah, but for 2 blocks, 3 blocks. It's
That's
just a
cool.
giant row. And on the live stream, producer Adam is putting up some pictures of it. But it was wild. And it was a Sunday night. And still super busy with people. And I have a lot of takeaways from my trip to Chicago, but one of them is, man, people and density, so important.
Y'all know I be screaming about that all day long. Is density, density, density. I don't care if we got to flip the whole zoning law in the city charter on its head. I don't care. I want all of us living close to each other. I don't want to have to get in the car and drive 20 minutes to go see my mama. I want to do that. All right? I want this to be a walkable utopia. But I understand that's going to take time, and it's going to take energy, it's going to take effort. But there are some areas where people are really working hard to make that more of a reality. I went to the Chinatown Festival over the weekend. I didn't drive, and I live almost on the river. I did a scooter, and then I walked the other half of it.
Nice.
And it felt great. It felt great and I took the Q line back. It felt great to not have to get in my car. It was fantastic.
That was the biggest shock for me coming back. Not that I logically knew it. I logically knew.
Yes, we all logically know, but when you go do it and then come back, it's different.
I spent 3 days on various L trains and buses. I didn't need a vehicle once. I got everywhere I needed to go quickly and on time using the CTA.
There you go.
I come back this very morning, take the bus in, ghost bus, second ghost bus.
Tragedy.
Then had to like catch a ride in because it was not working. Like it literally just doesn't show up here in Detroit. And it was this thing of within 24 hours seeing it. And here's the other thing. There is this argument. Here's another thing I come out with. There is this argument of like buses versus trains. No, all of them. You need both.
You need
like this
all of
idea that people say that, you know, we had some guests on the show previously who were like, oh, I don't want to do a train. I want something that'll happen when I can happen. Yep. You know what? You need both. You need to have a really strong bus system that feeds to a spine of a train system.
It needs to be a yes and.
A yes and. And I know we won't get there immediately. I know. I'm not dumb. I'm not sitting there going, we're going to have elevated. No. But what I do think is that we need to get really serious. And right now, apparently, DDOT has something like 40 buses out of commission right now.
That just basically means half the system don't work.
And it doesn't work in my neighborhood.
Yeah, half
at
the
all.
system don't work. So 40 buses means half of the routes don't work.
And so we need to do something that's sustainable, that's an actual investment. And I realize how angry I am.
Well, you should be
about the fact that there was a proposal to spend $200 million on transit, and the administration said,
Nah.
No, we can't spend that money.
We can't spend that much.
We don't know how to spend that money. Tell me this. If that's the issue, not the money, but that we can't spend it,
bruh, you know
that is a problem. And then here's another thing that gets
I would spend it. Do you not? I think you know how to spend that much money. You know, I know
Here's
how to
the
spend
thing.
that much
Let's
money.
dare to think about bigger ideas.
Yeah.
All right. So I have strong feelings. Recently, there was this whole Project Grit thing.
Yeah.
About a large sand disk factory out in Flint or whatever that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was a couple $1 billion in cash incentives, not just tax incentives, cash.
Cash
If
money.
there is $2 billion for SanDisk, give me my train. No, and I mean that seriously, across the state. Why are we investing in private companies? Why are we doing that, picking winners and losers, when we could invest in something that would seriously give a hand up in Detroit, in Flint, everywhere else? Why are we even thinking about that? What is wrong? I thought these were liberals in charge.
Hey, man, I
Liberals
feel
are
you.
about taking, like, we are supposed to be about taking care of the people.
Yep.
And I am tired of excuse after excuse. This is dumb.
Yeah,
It's
you're not gonna get
stupid.
you're not gonna get an
I'm
argument out of me, man.
But why are we doing in secret deals about economic development when we don't have our ducks in a row? Why are we handing corporations this money? Tax incentives, I understand. Discounts, I understand. Cash money, invest it in the people. That needs to be in the rules.
Hey, man, you not
No
gonna
one
get an
running for
argument.
office should allow cash unless it's for the people.
I'm gonna let you cook, bro. Keep cooking, because you're not gonna get an argument out of me based on that, man. Because at the end of the day, when I look at the shortfalls, not just from a litany of budgets, but when we look at the shortfalls, particularly around this issue, which, by the way, for the past 4 to 5 years has been number 1 or number 2 for voters under 50. Like almost every voter under 50
73%, I think, was the statistic.
Yes, says across all cohorts. This is not a racial thing. This is not across all cohorts. Voters under 50 say that transit is one of their number 1 or number 2 issues when they vote. Everyone in Metro Detroit wants this fixed, and they want it fixed yesterday. So when you hear that people say, oh, we don't know how to spend that much money, bruh, give it to me. I'll figure it out. You give me $2 billion, I figure out how to have the whole fleet electrified. We would have brand new routes. We would have an extension of rail. We would figure it out. But if you're telling us that you don't know how to spend $2 billion or however much it was that DDOT was getting, no, balderdash, bro. That does not make sense. It does not compute.
I was joking with some friends on the visit because they were, having some complaints about the red line or whatever, which, by the way, I didn't wait more than 10 minutes for a single train.
Yeah.
I said, if y'all don't want it, we'll take it. Norris, will you help me?
Yes, let's
We'll
bring it.
load up the trucks. We'll
We'll
take
bring
it
it.
station by station. If you don't, Chicago, if you don't watch your red line, if you think there's too much poop on it, if you think it's too dangerous,
We'll take it, poop and all.
we will take all, what is it, 26 miles?
Yeah, we'll
of
take the
rail?
whole 26
I'll take it
miles.
piece by piece. I will load up the trucks. We will send a caravan from Detroit to the Skyway.
Yep.
We'll take every piece of rail and I will run it
Up
all
Jefferson.
over up Woodward, 26 miles. It's within the city of Detroit. We can go even into the suburbs a bit.
We
take
could.
half of it and we can go to 696.
Bruh, let's get it, bruh. We'll take it to Royal Oak and back. Y'all will love it.
Because this is, it just got me mad. It got me mad.
We
And
can tell.
I'm just tired of walking down streets. So I was up in Andersonville. And there's Clark Avenue. And Andersonville is a neighborhood that is the home of local shopping, which is very close to my heart.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a localist at heart. I always buy local.
You literally made a podcast called Daily Detroit.
I
sir.
literally only order from Amazon if I can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going down the street and there are 2-story, 3-story commercial buildings. And you know what they look like? They're from the same era of Mack Avenue near where I live. Okay, so I'm a long time Detroiter.
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember when it looked like that a little bit?
I do. When I was in Detroit in the 80s as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, I split my time growing up. My grandmother lived in Indian Village. I remember these buildings. You can look at the pictures in coffee shops like Common Ground or the Commons and see these storefronts that we demolished. Okay, beautiful, cool little tile like embellishments and streets right up to the street and like little areas to sit out and everything. And we demolished it all.
Yeah.
We demolished it all, but it's all sitting there.
Yeah.
And there's no reason we can't have it. There's no reason we can't rebuild it. There's no reason, like some of the building styles I would see, I've seen them up on Dexter on the west side.
Yeah, man.
Because all that stuff at
Saw
that same
Rust
era,
Belt.
it was all the same era. We're cousins. Chicago and Detroit are cousins.
Yep. Saw Rust Belt, dog. And listen, I get the
got me
same
mad.
feeling. I get the same feeling when I go to places like Chicago. But I think the thing that I always try to emphasize is that at the end of the day, Chicago, for the most part, even when it started to expand out into the suburbs and urban sprawl and all that stuff, Chicago stayed Chicago.
For sure.
And there's a lot of people who kept their butts in Chicago, whether they be white, black, Latino, whatever. That the racial part doesn't matter. But there was a lot of people that stayed their butts in Chicago. That was not the case here. And I think that is something that we also got to address, and we also got to be very we got to just drink that. We got to drink that poison with the water.
Tell me about it.
We gotta accept that, and we gotta accept that if the people who left and went to Southfield and Oak Park and Birmingham and wherever, if y'all are unwilling to come back, we'll take new people. But don't be mad when the city looks different, and whether that be economically, whether that be racially, whether that be socially. This is a black city, and I think for the far into the future, it will remain a majority black city. However, I do think that the demographics will change. Not a might change, not a could change, will change. It is inevitable because the people moving here are moving here with a spirit that allows them to get stuff done, with the funds to get stuff done, and with the access to get stuff done. Is that unfair? Unfortunately, it is. But the people who could have did it left. And I will never forget y'all for that. I'm just putting that out there.
Well,
I love y'all. I love y'all, but I'll never forgive you.
You're even talking about your family.
Absolutely. I don't forget them either.
Because you have some tough conversations.
Absolutely. Listen, with my actual blood, and I tell him, I was like, you should have stayed in the city, bro. You can't speak on us. I literally called my dad, bro. He got mad at me. But but legit, man, like, there are family members I have that I'm just like, why didn't y'all stay? You know how dope it would have been for this business that you have, or for these ideas that you have. Many of them still work in the city. They still come down and play in the city, but their property taxes are not in the city, and that angers me. But that's just the breaks. I can't control what people do, but I want y'all back. I want y'all back. But if you don't want to come back, somebody will take your place.
Yeah, because outside of the regional tourism aspect, when I think about investment, when I think about the people who I interview, the people you've heard on this show, you know, so often it is somebody from New York, somebody from Chicago, somebody from San Francisco. Very rarely is it somebody from Lake Angeles. Very rarely is it somebody from Allen Park, right? Metro Detroiters are missing out on the up that Detroit is. And that is wild to me because I think regions need to work together. We're all neighbors. I have a very inclusive way of looking at it because we all got family everywhere, right? That's just the reality.
Yeah.
And to me, there is so much economic possibility that's in Oakland County, in Macomb County, in other parts of Wayne County that is not getting unleashed here. And then you're seeing the money from other places come here.
Yeah. And my thing is that if you cool with that, then you cool with that. But don't be angry when you start to see things happening. I think that's the part that kind of sticks in my craw, which is, you know, we want this to be a city that continues to improve. We want this to be a city that continues to have new ideas. But at the same time, regionally, a lot of us cloister ourselves off from those new ideas from new places. And it's weird when I'm hearing people who are not from here, who have never grown up here. And I'm not talking about like native Detroiters per se. Like a lot of native Detroiters, we got that love. We got that pride and that sort of we don't ride for our city. But when I'm talking to people from the suburbs and the exurbs, there's still a lot of that 1960s, 70s, and 80s thought process that's prevailing. Sure, you all will come down here to watch the Tigers and
it's
and
across
Red
communities.
Wings.
To be real, it's across communities.
And I'm taking race out of this. I just want y'all to know I'm taking race completely out of this. I mean, we've seen city council meetings in Southfield where people are talking about we don't want the guy dancing with his kids on Southfield and 9 Mile because it reminds me I live on the east side. What? Nah, dude is literally outside playing a trombone or whatever he was just because he likes doing it. But nah, that reminds you too much of living near the pores. Nah, dude, we got to kill that. We have got to kill that ideology. This region needs cooperation in the same way that other metro regions understand that if the city dies, everywhere else will die. All right? Because I'll tell you, when people move into this area, I have never heard not near one person, never ever in my life to say, bro, I really, you know, when I was a kid and I graduated college, I really wanted to move to Oak Park. You've never heard that.
But I do see corporate relocators and stuff really pushing people towards stuff like that.
I don't care.
Right. I'm just, I'm acknowledging that people know that and
no,
see
but
that,
but I'm saying the energy is from the city.
Yeah,
The energy is from the city. The culture is made in the city. The excitement is made in the city. And this is not a diss against the suburbs and people who grew up in the suburbs. You can't control where you were born. I'm talking about specifically what creates the energy of a region. And it is always inevitably coming from the city, period.
Let's talk about a few stories around town. There is now news that Sweet Green is opening in downtown Detroit. It's a popular fast casual restaurant.
I'm so happy.
I know because I've been a few times, but I know this is your jam. This will be at 1020 Woodward. It will be the 6th location in Michigan. And this is going to be in a bedrock property. This is very like customizable, so fast casual, like bowls and like protein plates and things like that. I think there's like 900 locations nationwide, so we're a little behind the curve.
Yeah,
but I know people are really excited about this, and that includes you.
Better late than never. Listen, I used to hate having to drive to Ann Arbor on Michigan Avenue way out there to go to Sweet Green because I love Sweet Green. Let me tell y'all something. This salad place is off the chain. You can get so much stuff at Sweet Green. It's gonna be over there in the that big Quicken building just off of Campus Martius, kind of where it used to be Jimmy John's over there and a few other shops over there. I'm excited about it because it is another kind of little. Oh yeah, Adelina. Yeah, it's right next door to Adelina. And I'm just excited for it, man, because it's just another great, healthy little lunch option, and we kind of was lacking in little lunch options.
Well, there's 7 Greens around the corner.
They better be scared. And I hate to say this about a small business, but they better be scared. 7 Greens, I love y'all, but y'all don't be open enough. I need y'all to be open just a little bit longer sometimes, man. I love y'all, and I want to support the small business, but every time I go, y'all not open.
Okay, for the people, what's your order at Sweet Greens?
you know what? It really depends, man. But they got like they had like a sweet chicken that you could put in the salads. I would get that no matter what. But you know what really where I go is the focaccia. They got a focaccia bread that is just, I mean, it's way better than it should be for basically a glorified fast food joint. Like it's really devastating. Like I know bread is not great for you, but it's the jam. Sweet green is dope. I can't wait to check it out. I'm gonna spend too much money, man.
Detroit has won a battle against Real Token, and this company, Realty, is fighting back. Now, this story is from our friends at Outlier Media. The city of Detroit is suing Real Token. It's a Florida-based company owning more than 400 homes in the city, and the city has been saying that their properties are in disrepair and fail to meet code and compliance standards. A Wayne County Circuit Court judge issued a temporary restraining order in favor of Detroit, requiring that rent be placed in escrow for home repairs. Real Token, for their part, denies the allegations, stating many citations predate their ownership and that they are actively renovating properties. They have filed a motion to dissolve the restraining order, calling it excessive and punitive. Detroit's Corporation Council emphasizes their focus on protecting residents living in substandard conditions and trust in the legal system to provide relief. Look, rentals are an issue in the city of Detroit, and somebody coming in, this is something that is going to be an ongoing battle. Big kudos to Outlier Media for following up on this. To see these kind of landlord actions is a big deal, because there's been so many properties over the years, not just like this company, but there have been examples over and over again of large landlords, and I'm not talking 4 or 5 people. I'm talking hundreds of properties leaving stuff to rot, sometimes charging rent on properties they don't even own.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where you hear people talking about corporate ownership of land and corporate ownership of single-family households that have become a very serious problem in the United States in general, and particularly in a place like Detroit, where majority of the domiciles are single-family homes. We are not like Chicago or New York or any bigger cities where most of the living dwellings are apartments. No, people live in single family homes, but most are renters. We actually lost that designation a few years back, where it used to be majority of the people in the city of Detroit were owners. Now majority of the people in the city of Detroit are renters. And so this causes a litany of issues. And we've talked about the Real Token story for a little bit over the past month or so. But this is a particularly problematic issue, because when you have issues with your property and you're a renter, you're not empowered to just fix the issue yourself. As a matter of fact, if you fix the issue yourself and make it worse, now you become doubly liable. So now you have a busted hot water heater, and your landlord can sue you, and you can get evicted because you just did some stuff you weren't supposed to do, even though you need hot water. So it creates this sort of no-win situation for renters when you have an absent landlord. And Real Token has been, or Realty, whatever they call themselves, have been, taking the task over this by the city of Detroit. And I think it's warranted. I think an absent landlord absolutely should be legally liable.
And to be clear, a lot of this is going through the process in litigation and alleged, but it's something there. I like to see the active work by the city of Detroit. Of course, always in these proceedings, there's a back and forth, but I like to see the energy from the city of Detroit. Let's end on some good news. Apple Manufacturing Academy is opening in Detroit next month, in a couple of weeks, August 19th. This will be a free programming. This initiative offers free programming to train and support American businesses, innovators, and manufacturers in advanced technologies. This is in collaboration with Michigan State University. There will be workshops focusing on AI, smart manufacturing, machine learning, and automation. And this is part of a more than $500 billion or more than $500 billion commitment over the next 4 years that Apple is making for U.S. stuff. Now, that's not just in the city of Detroit. But to see this here on top of the Developer Academy, longtime listeners of the show will know we actually had someone from Apple on the show talking about the Developer Academy. This is the kind of stuff you need, the on-ramps to these kind of jobs of the future, because we can't always just be stuck in manufacturing.
No,
or in basic manufacturing.
Basic manufacturing. I mean, listen, ultimately, this is one of those cool things that, is going to attract one of those people who, potentially graduate from high school in the area, and maybe they want to go directly into the workforce, or maybe you got somebody who has a passing interest, or maybe even you got somebody who's just really into Apple and just wants to be closer to Apple and learn more from Apple and do the things that Apple sponsors. This is all cool, man. And, this is going to allow people to have a different pathway into tech that is more hardware based. A lot of the on-ramps we see with tech is always based around software, based around coding, based around machine learning and that kind of stuff. And this is something that kind of leverages a spirit that we already have here, which is manufacturing, and kind of taking it to a new level, a different step. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, well, that will be open Tuesday, August 19th, and we'll put a link in the show notes. Norris Howard, so good to see you.
We had an angry show today, but you know what? That's life sometimes. You gotta let it out.
You let me out the city, and look, I just came back mad.
No, but you know what? Sometimes you got to be that way. Sometimes, listen, anger is a valid emotion that all of us should feel sometimes.
Well, you know who I'm not angry at?
Who's that?
Our members on Patreon.
That's right. We love them.
Patreon.com/Daily Detroit. Get some swag. Support what we're doing. We are truly independent media. Even our sponsors oftentimes, our listeners themselves, they found the value because they listen as well to this very podcast. So join us, patreon.com/Daily Detroit. We are truly independent media. We are not a voice of any political party, not a voice of any political campaign, no foundations, none of that. And even when we get sponsorship, they don't affect our
Only
editorial.
our members can buy us.
That's true. And we're cheap to our members.
We're so cheap.
I mean, would you buy us a coffee, a drink? You know what? $5 a month, less than $50 a year. You can support Daily Detroit. Local media needs local support to survive.
Let's not forget, you can meet up with us at
August
the Old
9th.
Miami. August 9th is coming up.
Yep, the afternoon of August 9th, there is an Eventbrite. Come on out. We're going to be doing a live show. We're going to be doing some versus tasting. We're going to have some fun stuff, meet and greet. It is Detroit's dog park for humans. That is the Old Miami.
The Human Zoo.
It is a wonderful place. I cannot wait to see you all on that Saturday. And it's celebrating my birthday.
That's right. So come out for Jared's birthday. That's what I'm calling it. He wants to give you all the other reasons. I don't care about all that. We're going to hang out for Jared's birthday. We're going to have a live show. We're going to have a good time. So come out, share a drink with us, break bread, and let's have a good old time.
Oh, for sure. And if you're listening to the podcast, tune in on Tuesday night. We're going to do something stupid or great. And that is a live stream of the mayoral results as they come in for Detroit.
The primary.
Yeah, the primary results here.
I'm interested, man. That number 2 slide is up in the air right now, dude. It could go anywhere. I don't know what's gonna happen.
It's going to be fun to watch and talk with people, answer questions on the live stream. Maybe have some guests come in. If you've got feedback, dailydetroit@gmail.com. And definitely it's something we want to do. So we will be on Tuesday. Our live stream will not be on Wednesday because of that.
That's right.
Because I'm going to be tired.
And we don't need to recover, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to need to recover. So
recover.
tune in to the live stream Tuesday around 7:45, just before 8 p.m. when the polls close.
That's right.
We're going to get into it. All right. With that for today, and we will talk tomorrow, I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Norris Howard.
Remember that you are somebody, and we'll see you around Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
our live stream is still on. We have stopped recording for the show. We will put that up tomorrow morning.
The Chicago convo got people lit, bro.
Yeah, let's hop into the comments here because there's a lot going on. We're going to usually we end about 4:30, but we're going to keep going here.
No,
for a
we
minute.
keep going for a little
We're
bit.
going to keep going for a bit and listen to you all and have your thoughts. By the way, Mike Wong, I really appreciate you. It is Leo season.
It is Leo season.
You know,
Leos are actually some of my favorite people. Some of my favorite people. My youngest sister is a Leo. Who else? You're a Leo. I know a lot of really dope Leos. Like Leo Virgos are like my favorite people for some reason.
why Virgos?
Well, Virgo Taurus is just, they link up.
Okay.
That's just compatible signs.
Are
But
you a Taurus?
I'm a Taurus. Pure Taurus, May 9th.
That does not surprise me.
I like nice things.
And you are stubborn.
And I am stubborn. I'm stubborn. I'm telling you, when I tell people I am a Taurus, I am stubborn. I like nice things. And if I could stay in the house all day with the stuff I like, I could.
Michael Dumpier, by the way, I appreciate your longtime support. Preach Jer, I assume that was coming up when I was a little hot under the collar.
Yeah, you let it fly this week. You don't often be like that, but you know what? But I like.
I am in my IDGAF era around a lot of this because
but I like it
because I think a lot of this conversation is overly muted by politeness.
Yeah, and we have a tendency to want to have good manners.
Also, Michael adds, I'm just thinking out loud, did Chicago just not have the same problem with suburbs breaking apart from the city proper? Then Andrew replies, people in Chicago suburbs never went to war with Chicago the same way ours did with Detroit.
I think there's, and I'm not from Chicago. Maybe producer Adam could give us more context on the side there, or throw it in the chat, whatever you want to do. I don't know. I can't speak for him. But the point is that there was enough population, enough business, enough energy to sustain Chicago in a way where flight, which was happening nationwide at the time, where white flight, and then later on in the late 90s, early 2000s, black flight, the city still was the city, and it still held on to enough residents and enough people in order to continue to grow and have transplants and have people move to the city and have businesses that want to move in the city and operate in the city. The difference with Detroit is that
because like Chicago taxes are high. Chicago's got a lot of crooked stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's not the paragon of well-run cities.
No, it's not. But it just had enough people. The thing with Detroit that changed it up is that so many people left so quickly that the replacement rate was going to be impossible to get that many people back. And so you had 10, 15 years of that in the 60s and 70s, and then the first recession in the 70s hit, completely decimated the auto industry. More people left, and then you had crack that hit the community. More people left. So Detroit, unfortunately, was hit with a series of unfortunate events that just made this one of the most unappealing cities, particularly for white Americans to live in. And people just never really came back until last year.
That's a bit hyperbolic, but
no, I'm just saying in terms of positive population growth.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
I'm not wrong.
Mike Wong, the Detroiter pride and love was a huge factor in what drew my family here. There's a community energy we fully wanted to be a part of. That's so true.
That's why we're here.
That's so true. Yeah.
That's the only
Everybody
reason
involved in this project has options.
A lot of them. There's some pretty smart people that work here.
Yeah.
And we all just choose because we love the community, man. We actually, man, Jared, one of the first conversations I had with Jared about joining Daily Detroit and talking more about Daily Detroit is Jared said within 15, 20 minutes of talking to me, he was like, man, I could tell you love the city. Why do you live in the suburbs? And then I looked over at my ex at the time, and it was her fault, and Jared understood what I was saying. But, Jared and I connected with just a very simplistic and very straightforward love of the city. And from there...
Are you saying I caused your divorce?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. I caused my divorce. The problem was mostly me. Nothing I did, just, clash of personalities, man. I wanted different stuff out of life. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Detroit. And the point is that, we love that community, man. We love it.
King Yak. I'm in Chicago right now, and the infrastructure is off the chain. I need to be a liaison for Detroit to get ideas from other places to build our city back up.
Bring them back.
Bring them back.
Every time you travel, bring them back.
That's one of the reasons I love traveling. It's why, look, I love the city and I love being here, but I always want to travel. Like, I want to get the project to a place where there can be some guest hosts where, like, I can go and not just go out to other cities, get ideas, bring them back, show things that are out there. Because I think sometimes, and this is understandable, but we can get in kind of a myopic view. Myopic. We can keep the aperture too tight.
Yes.
And there are things when you go to places where it's like, damn, we could do that. And it's not like it's crazy. It's not like we're building $1 billion tower. It's stuff like, we can do
we
this.
did just do that.
We
but
did just
the point is.
But we could do it, whether it's taking care of parks or it's stuff with bus rapid transit or it's bus shelters or it's community service or you name it. There's so many things that we can just take and then adapt.
Yeah, as a fellow royal, King Yak, what I also bring back one of the things that sticks out for me that I brought back after I went to San Francisco was the BART system, the BART train system, Bay Area Rapid Transit. And it is a combination of subway, street level rail, and buses. It is all of the above. I think they even got some ferries too, right? It is a combination of all the ideas of transit put together in the same vein of a New York or Chicago. It's all put together. And one of the things I loved is that they had these basically queue lines that ran all over the city. Sure, it didn't go to every neighborhood. It didn't go to every single solitary block. It just went to the parts that you know most people are going to. They did the studies. They did the heat map and saw where are people going. And they just built the street level rail around that. And I'm like, bruh, that's simple. That's simple. We could do that. So I'm with you, man. I think I think the city needs to send like all the innovation people out and then just bring back ideas.
But send them out for like a month.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
don't go just go on a junket.
No,
because like the Q line is a streetcar designed by somebody who never used one to go to work.
There you go. That's
Straight up.
That's exactly
because
what it is.
If somebody who knew how to go to, if somebody used a streetcar and went to work with it, they would know that we needed at the very least dedicated lanes. They would know that we would have to be up the center. They would know, like, there'd be so many things if you've actually ever used transit to go to work, which I have, that would just be non-starters.
For how our city is built, anywhere downtown, it would have just connected to the people mover and just been elevated rail until it got north of 94. And then it would have been
I'm even more convinced that we need to do more elevator. I'm more convinced now than I was because it just, taking it off grade changes everything.
Changes everything. We have too many automobiles.
But the other side about it from a advocacy point of view,
speeds, yeah.
But the speeds, not only speeds for the trains, but also drivers don't like dealing with the mixed traffic. And if you want to get it politically through, you got to do something for the drivers.
That's true. That's true. Even though I think that makes y'all stupid, but like you can just go around it. Like, I'm sorry, bro.
Michael says, I say this in jest, but my mom watches Fox News and she thinks Chicago is dangerous.
But she thinks all cities are probably dangerous in general.
Right, because it's not about...
That's what they do.
Because it's about... Right, and I know he's saying this in jest, but a lot of this, one of the reasons why I kind of dislike the mainstream media, even though I sometimes appear on it, is that whole simple narrative stuff that everybody falls into. That doesn't do anybody any good. I'm not trying to say this to like, I know you're on the same side as me, Michael. I'm not trying to like argue with you.
Yeah.
King Yak, where can I share it with? Who can I share it with to make a difference?
City council meetings, doggy. Like, you know, you
get to know your council members.
Get to know your council members. Like, go into your app based off your address, see who your council member is, and bug the shit out of them.
Also, Department of Neighborhoods.
Yes, and Department of Neighborhoods.
Because the thing is so few people speak up.
Yep.
That those that do can really have an impact.
Yep.
I also think just making awareness of people so that they know that these things exist. The number one thing, and why I try to always have patience, is that people just don't know.
They don't know, and then the ones that do tend to shirk at the opportunity. And listen, that it could be scary. It could be scary to take time out of your day to go to a city council meeting or to call your Department of Neighborhoods and say, "Hey, man, I want this done."
Or state reps.
Or state reps. Actually, state reps is also another
because we need
good
that
one
state
too,
money.
because we need the state. We can't do anything with transportation without state money. So all of the above for that. But I think just starting at the city level and getting to a point to where at least the whole city of Detroit can go with a collective voice to the state and say, this is what Detroit wants. That is so powerful. So I think even if you just start there, it's good.
Same in the suburbs, too.
Absolutely.
If you're in the suburbs, because one of the things I'll talk to elected officials and they'll say not enough people talk about it to me. Mm-hmm. And it sounds stupid, but as much as we can have a pole and cranes, people want, like, you need to shake them. Not physically. I'm saying metaphorically.
Yeah, but you do. And listen, let's not kid ourselves, man. Do you really think a town like Ferndale would hate it if they could have transit that runs all across Metro Detroit? Do you think a town like, Redford would hate it? No. Livonia might. But
that's contentious.
Yeah, do you think Redford would hate it? Do you think Dearborn would hate it? No, majority of Metro Detroit wants this. They want to be connected to the city center, and they want to have that free flow of ideas, economy, and people. So, you know, we need y'all in the suburbs to continue to put pressure on y'all elected officials, because the holdup actually is not in the city of Detroit. If the idea comes to the city of Detroit, there's more willingness to do it, because it actually really helps our citizens, because most of them don't work in the city of Detroit. It would really, really help if we got that assistance from the suburbs, because y'all got the power to do it.
Well, and that's part of why. So Michael makes the point that the People Mover was supposed to continue up Woodward. That is correct. There was actually a plan in the 70s. $600 million was going to come from the administration. That ended up building DC's Metro. If you ever wonder, I've said this story.
Which is amazing.
I've said the story a number of times. Most people don't know this. The reason why the People Mover seems so confusing is because it was supposed to be the loop.
Yep.
It was not supposed to be the big thing. That was not supposed to be the kahuna. The idea was to do a subway line running along Woodward Avenue all the way up through Royal Oak. There's just so many things that you can go back. There's actually an interview we did on the podcast, The Lost Subways of America. The author had them on the show. Really great. The book has great graphics in it. You can see that not just in Detroit, but other places, things that we lost and then opportunities that were missed around transit. And the reason we didn't get that done in Metro Detroit is straight up like racial animus. So
You know it.
It just is what it is. But I'd like to think things will change in the future and have changed today to at least get some of these things done. Andrew writes, Livonia will like it when they find out it makes it easier to go to concerts and sports games.
I don't know about that one.
I think the key with a place like Livonia, and so this gets me to another concept that I've really learned over the last few years. It's really hard to convince people to be part of transit when they still don't have sidewalks in their neighborhood.
There's a reason why they don't have sidewalks.
Right. But
in
also
their
drainage.
neighborhood.
Like a lot of Livonia doesn't even have sidewalks. A lot of Livonia, although it's Wayne County, still has like drainage ditches in its front yards.
Yeah, that's on purpose.
I know. But to our friends in Livonia, like I am looking at this from a bridge building point of view.
Oh, okay.
That there needs to be like that park and ride kind of situation, because you're not going to get the same. Like they've been resisting even like smart service up until now. So there needs to be that kind of like clustered situation. Oh, I can go to the airport, or I can go downtown, or I can go across to Troy, or something like that.
It's got to be the cost benefit analysis, right?
Right.
It's got to be somebody who says, you know, wow, I would, you know, I'm leasing my car. It'd be really nice to not put miles on my car just to go to work or to go to the baseball game.
It's going to be the baseball game, because
Yeah.
part of the challenge with Metro Detroit when you get farther out is that so many people work in different areas.
No, and
And
that's
it's
part
spread
of
out
the
everywhere,
issue.
so it makes
yeah.
it hard for transit to cover that.
Yeah, and that's part of the issue is that when we're talking about the city of Detroit, the reason why you got to start it here is because it is still the largest singular cluster of people.
And the vast majority of riders are connected to the city of Detroit, or the transit system. Like,
Exactly.
The difference between DDOT and SMART is insane.
Yeah, it's not close.
It's not. People always talk about like, well, the city needs to get up to the suburbs level. I mean, yes, the suburban bus system does a good job of running pretty much on time, but it also serves far fewer people.
By the tens of thousands.
Yes. Michael Dompier, look up which places were sundown towns. Yep. I don't want to get too many people mad at me, but I did lose a relationship once. Not a relationship. I was dating somebody, and I dared to mention that Livonia is a sundown town, and
But
that was the end of that.
But it's true.
I know,
anyway,
but facts don't. You know, people.
I know
It's
how it
feelings
goes.
over facts.
Feelings. But listen, I want Livonia to be in the fold. Now, like, I don't say this to be combative. I say it to say you are missing out on all types of cool culture and benefits and people that could come work in your city and in your towns, and you could come and experience all the cool stuff we got in Detroit, and you wouldn't have to get in the car. Like, that's a good thing. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean those are all very good things, but I also think about it as a way that, you know, on the other side, I hear everything that you're saying, but on the other side, I often hear an argument, whether it's bike lanes, transit, buses, whatever, that it's for the hipsters, and that's like couldn't be the farthest.
You just don't want to sit next to the poor.
It's just the farthest thing from the truth about who this would actually serve. You know, I was looking up for another thing on social media. I think the last time I looked, a quarter of households in Detroit don't have a car. So like the most effective economic development program you could do is not give $2 billion to SanDisk, but to give transit to people who need it, as opposed, like, I believe in hand ups, not handouts, and this is a hand up. And I wish this conversation about that, bike lanes, micromobility, all that stuff, these are hand ups.
Yeah.
This is about people being able to be proud and do things. And I'm just
And it immediately improves the quality of life of everybody in that community. And anybody who wants to visit that community as well.
King Yak, we shouldn't wait for the other counties to get on board with transit. We should just start in Wayne County, and then the other counties will understand why it's important. I don't disagree. It's going to be challenging because of the
It's
amount
a money
of
question.
It's a money question. I know that Warren Evans has been big behind that. It's his political capital that's gotten everybody on board
Yep.
with that, because eventually I think they want to do some sort of financing in Wayne County. The challenge is that our system isn't set up to do this. You know, most other places funded by a county, they found it funded by county.
Yep.
Geographically, we have an issue in that Wayne County, like, is a very weird place that is very different. Like, in most places, the county seat is kind of in the center, and here the county seat
It's
is
south.
Yeah, it's often to a corner. So, like, there's a huge difference in service needs between Detroit and Woodhaven
Yeah.
versus here, where, like, in a more functional setup, Detroit would be the center of a county that included all the way up to, like, Troy and all the way out to past St. Clair Shores. You know what I mean? It would be a little bit more centered. We have a bad system that our governments are set up that make this very difficult.
And then there's that, and then there's the question of funding, because, to be perfectly honest with you, the financial capital, the capital that Oakland County has,
Oakland County's more rich than many states.
Like, the financial power of Oakland County by itself almost makes it impossible for Wayne to do it by themselves. Like, the city of Detroit is here, and there is a world in which the county could come together, you know, Livonia and Dearborn and all the rest of those places could come together with the city of Detroit and build a functional transit
You can cover the
system.
airport.
You could cover the airport, which is a big thing. You could cover the airport. You could cover the exurbs.
You could knock on Ferndale.
You can knock on Ferndale, which they would be very happy about, and you could get to something that is a semblance of a real system. But then you would run into, or possibly you could run into, the same issues that you have with DDOT, which is funding sources, which is having enough people to run the system, which is adequately running routes to the places that need to run the routes, because it's a funding question. But if you add Oakland County into the mix, oh boy, now we cooking with fire.
Well, it's one of the reasons why I mentioned that, you know, on the show itself, I was talking about that difference between outside money versus, like, the fact that Metro Detroit money just doesn't seem to be as interested. There's plenty of money in Metro Detroit.
There's
People don't realize that. It just doesn't feel like it when you're
ton
over
of
by
money.
Gratiot and Grand like I am. It doesn't feel like it.
yeah, but go to Orchard Lake, you'll see.
Oh yeah, Canton.
Go to Orchard Lake, go to Canton, go to Northville, which is like, people forget Northville, places like Northville and Plymouth and Canton, those are still Wayne County, dog.
Yep.
And they got a lot of money out there. I used to live out there.
But they need service, right? They need something in between. So how do we bridge gaps to get that where it needs to go? And that's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge. And I think because a lot of the former sort of thought processes and cultural, racial animus is starting to sort of ebb away, which I do think is a positive of Black flight, which is now you have a choice but to live next to certain people because they followed you out there. Oh my God, watch out. But you just grew up and learned that there's nothing to be afraid of. This is not a real thing.
Michael Dompier
the
says
points.
the points. Yes, the original streetcar suburbs, by the way.
That's right.
That's
The
actually all
points.
set up for streetcars.
Yeah,
Very
they're
well.
ready.
You could actually do something at Mac. You could do.
You
probably
could
wouldn't do
use the
Jefferson
old-
anymore, but you could do Mac.
You do Mac. You do
Jefferson doesn't make sense
You
anymore.
do Lafayette.
There's things you could do.
You could.
There's definitely things you could do.
You do Kercheval.
Yes.
You do Kercheval.
Kercheval.
Kercheval
Yep.
will be the street.
Do something.
But yeah, you could do all the way from downtown up to the north end, up to the points, and then almost Dearborn, and that could be all streetcar. Like, that's the cool part about it. But just very quickly, I want to go back to that question of Wayne County doing it by themselves. Is that also, you add in Oakland County, not just from a financial point of view, but you also have to understand that a large portion of Detroiters work in Oakland County.
Bingo.
A huge portion of Detroiters work. Yeah, most Detroiters
do not work in the city.
Yeah, most Detroiters do not work in the city. They either work in the suburbs, and the ones that work to the north, almost all of them work in Oakland County. So in order to make economic sense in terms of the flow of dollars and people, you would have to run it to Oakland County in some way.
Well, and that's a key, kind of not complete difference, but there is a little bit of a difference there between Detroit and Chicago, tying back to the infrastructure situation. You know, you can go that 26-mile line of the Red Line or whatever it is. You know, I was like 8.5 miles away from downtown. That's all within the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
Right? And there are jobs all along that thing.
Yeah.
The jobs are in the suburbs. And there are jobs in the city, but they're taken by suburbanites.
Yes.
That's just the reality.
That's the flip. Like
That's the flip.
That's the flip. Is that in most cities, in most big cities, New York, Chicago, not so much LA, because each town, LA's weird. LA lives
Detroit,
on the island.
But LA and Detroit are more similar in that we are polycentric.
Yes, it's polycentric, whereas you are central to whatever town you live and grew up in, and less centric to the sort of idea of this collective central city type thing. But most cities in America function that way, where even if you live in the suburbs, everybody funnels into the city for 8 to 10 hours a day, and then everybody goes home except for the young people and the hippies and, you know, other folks and urbane people, right? Detroit don't function that way. Detroit functions in...
It's all over.
It's all over. People live in Dearborn but work in Grosse Pointe. People live in the east side of Detroit but work in Southfield. People live in Auburn Hills and work in downtown Detroit. Like, that, it makes sense of that. Make sense of that. And it's because we're so car-centric that's the thing. But making sense of that from a mass transit point of view would be very difficult.
Andrew says, I think the draft proved that at the very least almost all inner suburbs on the spoke roads want public transit. The Michigan Fast Bus was packed during the draft at all hours. Yeah.
But that's a
huge draw.
It's a huge draw, but it's also a generational shift. It's a generational shift. If the NFL draft would have been done in 2015 or 2005 as opposed to 2025, that generation of suburbanite would not have done that.
But that gets into the age of voters. We saw that, we've talked about this in a previous episode, but like the age of voters, the difference between so in Detroit, senior voters dominate.
Yep.
But across Michigan, younger people are just not as involved in the system. And so elected officials don't take their suggestions as seriously. And so that is part of the challenge with that, right?
Yeah, we had that conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are seeing a cultural shift in terms of attitudes towards Detroit, public transit, and all these things. And a lot of it is being led by millennials because it is something that we've experienced. Millennials are the most traveled generation.
That's amazing.
Even more than Gen Z currently. Like they're not on track to travel as much as us. They're also poorer, so I feel bad about that. But millennials are the most well-traveled generation. And I think that is what leads us to some of this stuff popping up, where there's people want mass transit. They want these things that they've seen in other countries and other parts of the U.S. and in Canada and so on and so forth. And so I think once the boomers get out the way and once Gen X realize that they just missed the boat, that, we'll have some cool stuff.
Hot takes and hot cakes with North. Our new breakfast series. Forget pancakes and politics. Hot takes and hot cakes.
Hot takes and hot cakes.
That's right.
Wow, we'd get sued.
So bad. We can't do that. Oh, no. What was that Dave Letterman had? Oh, no. We're going to get sued. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up here, my friend. Are we
ending it now?
I think we could do transit. The live chat turns into transit talk almost every time.
Yeah.
We'll talk about anything you want. Potato chips,
it's always mass transit.
People are fired up about it.
Yeah, listen, and I understand, man, because first of all, cars are expensive, bro.
You're not telling me.
As somebody who's gonna have to get a new car within the next 2 months, I'm not looking for.
Well, car insurance is expensive. By the way, if anyone's got a good lead on a car insurance person, we're working on it.
Yeah, bro, who got the plug on car insurance? Let me know.
My partner's car insurance doubled.
I'm not shocked.
I mean, we expected to go up, but it went to a rate where it's like, oh, we don't actually want your business.
Oh, that's whack.
That, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mine didn't change too much, but I'm still not comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
So we're going to leave it here. Remember, next week, mayoral live stream Tuesday night, then back on our Wednesday business for the show. But looking forward to that. As always, feedback, dailydetroit@gmail.com. Leave me a voicemail, 313-789-3211 for the show.
Tigers won.
All right.
I just had to put that out
What
there.
was the score?
7-2.
Over.
Arizona.
Excellent. I'm so glad to hear it.
Yeah,
that gives me
man.
life.
I know we have been it been rough for a second there, but we back on track.
All right. Well, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Norris Howard.
Remember that you are somebody, and we'll see you around Detroit.